I guess we have to start. If somebody will join later, good. If not, we have a video recording in any case. I guess Joshua, we don't know each other. You are as developer here?
I'm a developer for Watsco. And actually, I've been working on import stuff for a long time here. So I'm just gonna sit back and see what's going on, and maybe you can jump on something at some point. But right now, I'm not really sure.
Sure. I mean, you're always welcome. You can ask the questions if you want to. You can also participate in discussion. So up to you. Then I will start. So last week I worked on the backlog for Async project. So yeah, we started the new project. It's called Async import. This project is kind of next step of our previous project for bulk API. And I worked last week on the backlog for this one, and I came up with two big epics we have for now. That's asynchronous product import, which is generally idea of is to move the default Magento import to the way that it can use the async request to proceed an import of the products there. But as we discussed also with Eugene already before, the big step here is to validate if it's really needed. So this epic has now only one task, is performance testing, because we have to do this task before to do any more development there, to have test results that we can predict and see which performance it gives to us in case if it is. So I made a task for performance testing for bulk async product save. So the idea to make a small prototype, run the default import export with CSV data there with, for let's say 1,000 products or 10,000 products, and make the time calculation between the initial start time and the time when all products are appeared in the backend of Magento. And then the same way for bulk API, just to see the time internally.
And it's not really to validate if it's needed, it's rather to see what drawbacks and like pluses and minuses you have.
Correct.
Because if you switch to asynchronous import, you might probably notice that altogether, like every product can be persisted slowly because we will use APIs instead of just direct import procedure like it is implemented right now in Magento. From the other hand, overall scalability will be higher because you can run multiple consumers for the queue and process those imports synchronously. So measuring those drawbacks and advantages of this process will allow you to kind of communicate it better. Like if you use that, then you probably should be aware of that and that.
Correct. Yep. Thanks. So yeah, that was generally the first task, which is open for anybody who want to take it. And then, so I came up with another epic, which generally appeared on bulk API project, and it was moved here. That was a Redis bulk API async API implementation. So the idea was that we use the Redis database. So for all bulk API calls. So bulk API call works like you make an API call to the system, it's storing this operation. So this is your object in an operation table of Magento, and then consumer reads it afterwards from this table. So that's how it works right now, how the Magento queuing system working. It's using the database tables. And the idea that we avoid, or we try to avoid, of using the database tables. So we're storing the Magento operation information in moved the Oh, that's nice. And am I still here? Hello?
I hear you.
Okay, good. Good. Because I just got a message that my internet connection is away.
Yeah, you dropped you.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. Then I don't know where I stopped, but we made already performance testing for using the Redis instead of the database for Magento operations, and the performance improvement there was, I guess it was like 30% faster without using the tables and users the Redis for that. And we also came up to idea that we can move forward and exclude the database usage for the bulk API at all. And I made some profiler test with creating a new bulk request. And sorry, I have to find it. It was somewhere. Redis model, Redis cache AV object. Correct. That's just one screenshot of the output which I get. That was a request which Magento select from EAV attributes on a step when it's creating a new not creating a new project, but yeah, when in a step when we send in a new API call to Magento. And also it's doing the authentication, so it's getting the users based on their token. It's have those requests, which is quite a lot of them, and then come in the Magento operation tables usage. And also I made a small code check, and I removed this reading from the EAV attributes on the import step. And for example, John, I can even write it here just for the future. Tests and with using of EAV tables, DB, no, sorry, total DB queries. It takes like 0,028 milliseconds, and without EAV tables, it's like this. So in any case, it's much faster. That's not counting all other like loading, so generally the PHP initialization, config loading, all this stuff. It's only the speed of the DB queries. So that's generally what you see here. Wait, stop. I guess I'm wrong here, generally. This is somehow too fast. Like this. Yep, and so I worked on a backlog. Yeah.
Alex, there is a question in chat from Joshua. Joshua, do you want to repeat it?
Yeah. So, are we going to import the taxonomy? I didn't want to interrupt your
Also, I didn't see the chat message. That's strange.
It's in Slack.
I put it on Slack. So
it's in Slack. Okay.
But it's related to previous epic, like import export. Joshua, do you want to repeat it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So there's two questions. Well, there's one question and a statement. So are we going to do taxonomy and products, or just products?
By taxonomy, do you mean categories?
Attributes and any other categories would go as well with that. So.
Sorry, but for which of my topic that's a question for? Is it for like async products import or for?
For async import, yeah.
Yeah, generally we will support the idea to support the old default Magento import functionality which we have there. I guess it's let's remind me, it's a product.
Currently, we support all
Prices?
post, put, deletes requests
Yeah.
like this. So if you want to input categories or CMS block or CMS pages, you can do it.
Yeah, but wait, yeah, the journey was I confused? Like you're talking about the using the async calls for the Magento import, or you're talking about the Redis or general bulk import?
For async import.
So via the Magento backend, like default Magento CSV import via the bulk request.
Okay. So when I tried to do something similar with my company, I wound up with a lot of deadlocks. And that was the big issue, and I couldn't get past it. It was being caused by, well, mainly in attributes first. Importing those attributes caused a lot of other places to change, and getting past those deadlocks was I just decided not to do it because it was too much.
Yeah, correct. But if you faced with a deadlock problem, this means I guess you didn't use the queuing system, so?
Correct. I didn't use the queuing system.
Correct. Yeah, that generally, if you're coming back to the history, that was a point where we came to the bulk IP import. So there was a lot of problems with the deadlocks, which user reported to us. And we came with the idea that we're using the async requests. So, I mean, you're pushing all your product data, as many as you have, you're pushing them to Magento, and Magento putting them in queue and then executing them one by one. This means you don't have any deadlocks problems anymore.
So I think it was Eugene that said that when we started this a few minutes ago, he said that talking about, or maybe it was you, talking about multiple consumers.
Correct.
Right?
That's possible to do. I mean, the deadlocks problem, if I remember correctly, Eugene, it was reported by Magento teams that they fixed this problem.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask actually. What version of Magento was that? Because in 2.2.6, as far as I remember, or maybe 5, probably already in 5, there is a fix for a lot of deadlock issues on the product creation. Okay. If you're talking about those issues, they might already be resolved. If there are different issues, though, it will be very good to report them back to the Magento and have it fixed, because it affects all other performance aspects of Magento, not just asynchronous import.
Yeah, it was when I was working on 2.2. I want to say 3, so it was a little while back. So okay, I'm just wondering because I really want to. This is a huge aspect for me and my company. So if there's something that I can actually start working on this. You know, actually working and solving some of these issues. Then
yeah, definitely. I mean, if you proceed.
I'm sorry. If you see those issues.
Eugene, you dropped off.
Yep, Eugene, you muted. He also didn't hear us. Eugene?
Yeah.
You were muted.
I think your headphones went dead.
Suddenly. Tell something? No.
Can you hear us, Eugene?
Yeah, sorry. My headphones died time to time.
We didn't hear anything, so you can repeat everything.
Yeah.
I was talking about that if you start working on that and you still see deadlocks on the newest version of Magento, it will be nice to report them as soon as possible so that Magento can start working on that, because it's important to get it fixed as soon as possible.
Great. And
correct, yeah.
And it's important outcome of this exercise as well.
Again.
Can you hear us, Eugene?
Looks like not.
No.
Now, Eugene?
Yeah, just please proceed without.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. and performance testing for this one yet, which is also was generally I can show it. We have another board which is bulk API board, and here we had the tasks which are left from the bulk API, which is still in progress, so we also plan to do them. And here was somewhere the performance testing, if I remember. Yep, so create performance test for bulk API, which we're quite interested in, so that you can that we can measure like how many consumers we can run simultaneously for do not have any problems with the products import, like how many products we can import, what is the speed of it, and so on. Because I made the test myself, and if you import at the same time like thousands of products, you face already with another problems, and I guess deadlock is not your worst problem. The biggest one. Yep. Do you have any other question which you can help you with?
No, that's
good. Cool. Yeah. So I make just a short overview of the tickets which I created. We have generally some initial one. Let's start from this one. So to create the key value framework module, that was a prototype provided, I don't know, by Alexander or by Eugene. Some of you guys did it in bulk API project. We had one story which was quite big. I split it to some small ones. So the idea here is that we build in the key value framework module inside of Magento. Then we have the Redis framework. Yep, we have a Redis framework implementation. It's a story-specific interface for using the connection to Redis. Then also we have Redis library, I guess. And yeah, creates the Redis module itself, which will read the config data from env PHP. And if it's enabled, then it will use the Redis connection. Then we have the story for write operation status to queue in Redis. So we store in the operation status not in Magento database, but we are doing it in a way that it's stored in a Redis database. And yep. Then read operations. After the consumer executes the calls. That was like part which is related to Redis. And we also have a part which is related to AV attributes, which is also related to Redis. But in this case, yep, we have to eliminate. The idea is to eliminate those select calls from AV attributes, and we came up with the idea that we have to cache them. So while we cache in the AV attributes in the system, we can avoid to load it from database, and then we will load it from cache, which will be much faster. Yep, so we'll provide a new cache type, and it's then in the future can be used also by another parts of Magento. Yeah, and also one more story, so that's funny, invalidate AV cache type on attribute save. So in any case, when something changed on AV structure, we have to invalidate the cache correctly. But generally for this part, I guess that's all from my side. Eugene, maybe, I don't know if you're with us now.
Yeah, I am. I wanted to ask a question like Joshua, Artyom, what do you think about scopes and what will be your interest in this project?
So I'm actually working on a import from my PIM system right now for my company. I can't rewrite what I have for my company to use this yet, right? Or start working full time using my company resource to do so. What I would like to do is pull down a repo and start testing and seeing, and perhaps doing some of the performance testing and stuff, because I can probably knock that out pretty quickly.
That's amazing. So what blocks you from switching on this implementation?
I pretty much have my whole PIM import done, and I would have to reconfigure my PIM export to match the files for Magento.
Got it. Yeah, that's concerned.
Yep. Just a question: how you using the CSV import, CSV import, or you using the Magento API?
I'm using raw queries right now, so so I have an intermediary between my PIM, which takes the exports from PIM and creates the deltas for them. So now I'm only importing deltas into Magento, and then I take that, and that exports in CSVs, and then I take that and import them with load data in file and some other, queries to clean it up.
I mean, yeah, but then sure. I mean, if you can pull the repository, try something. If you'll have a feedback for us, some reports, we will be always happy to hear it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, if you get a task for performance and do the performance testing, that's very valuable for this project.
Okay. I'll see if I can take that on later tonight when I'm or sometime in the evening, the next couple of days.
Cool.
Artyom, welcome to the project.
Hello, guys. Nice to meet you all. Sorry, I was late to the meeting, so I'm not really familiar with the current scope and what is done and what has to be done. So I think I will take some time to get familiar with the backlog. And I think when I will set up my development environment, I will be able to test it and pick something for me. So that will take, I don't know, a couple of days if someone will give rights to the backlog and to the repository.
I mean, it's public. You can just get it. I will post it in Slack channel. Are you in Slack channel of the bulk API project?
Okay, thanks.
We love you. So very nice to have you on board.
Oh, thank you.
Good. Okay. Yep. Then I guess for this part, that's all. I just want a small reminder. We had a bulk API project which is also still running. That's also in the scope of the general import improvements. If somebody don't know yet, we work on this project. At the beginning of this year, we provided the bulk API import to Magento 2.3, and also working on a backport for 2.2 version. And some enhancement appeared while the testing phases, which there are a couple of small ones. Sure, I can just put it in a sprint backlog. Yep, and a couple of bugs which we are currently working on. A couple of improvements that can be also done. If you are interested in that, feel free to join us. We will be very happy with that. Just question to Eugene. I don't know if you have the time to review some pull requests which we made last time.
So I'm still in progress of reviewing the to backport and still the testing. Last week I had some problems with my environment, so it's a little bit blocked by that. But still progressing on it, and I hope to get more updates this week.
Great, thanks.
Pull request. I just want to merge to the two first, and then we can move to the new pull request, so that it will be separate scopes of work every week.
Sure, good. That's fine for me. Cool. Yeah, and we will, just for your news, we will proceed with the story, I guess, for the 14 for the user. We transfer it to Magento operation tables because the guy is coming back from vacation. I hope he will join us next time. And hope we will finish it soon also.
Good news.
Any questions? Good. Then, yeah, I guess we can finish for now. If you have any questions, you can contact me, Eugen. You can write in a Slack channel, direct message, chat, no matter, Twitter, somewhere. We will try to help you.
Yeah, and just in general, we have this meeting every week. Every week we have some discussions, not mandatory status updates or demo or anything. And if you can join and you can make it and you still can listen for discussions, and it will be great to have you participate.
Correct. Thank you very much and see you next time then.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Take care.
See you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.